Maya Jennifer couldn't kill you with her hands. She didn't have a gun. It's not self-defense. It's not stand your ground.
We don't have that law.
We don't even have that law here in South Carolina. That's in Florida. We're not in Florida. You made a bad decision, and it's going to cost you some bad consequences. My granddaughter was not an aggressive person. Whatever happened that night, my granddaughter was baited or aggravated to that point. You can't get a person on anywhere that will tell you Maya Jennifer Simmons was an aggressor person.
On July 28, 2023, North Charleston police received a dispatch to the Bloom Room restaurant on Dorchester Road. Officers arrived to find a crowd gathered in the parking lot. Someone was on the ground. Bystanders were performing CPR. The woman bleeding out on the asphalt was Maya Jennifer Simmons, 30 years old, mother of 8 children, engaged to be married. Multiple gunshot wounds. The paramedics took over, rushed her to the hospital. At 2:57 a.m., she was pronounced dead. The shooter had already left the scene. For nearly 2 weeks, investigators worked the case. Witness statements, forensic evidence, surveillance footage. The parking lot had been full that night. People saw what happened. But the story they told was complicated. On August 11, 2023, Keisha Simmons Birch walked into the police station and turned herself in. She was 39 years old, mother of 3, business owner. No criminal record. She was charged with manslaughter and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. At her bond hearing, her attorney said one word that changed everything: self-defense. Maya's family sat in that courtroom and heard a woman claim she had to shoot their daughter, their granddaughter, their mother, to protect herself. The grandmother who raised Maya stood up and said what everyone who knew her already knew. Maya Jennifer couldn't hurt anyone. She wasn't aggressive. She wasn't violent.
Maya Jennifer couldn't kill you with her hands. She didn't have a gun. It's not self-defense. It's not stand your ground.
We don't have that law.
We don't even have that law here in South Carolina. That's in Florida. We're not in Florida. You made a bad decision.
But someone had brought a gun to the Bloom Room that night. Someone had fired multiple shots. Someone had left Maya dying in a parking lot while her 8 children slept at home, unaware they would wake up as orphans. The question wasn't just who pulled the trigger. Everyone already knew that answer. The question was why, and whether the law would call it murder or self-defense. This is the complete story, every action, every chilling detail. Welcome to Everyday True Crime. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a case. Stay with us for more gripping investigations and raw true crime stories delivered daily. Now let's dive in. Maya Jennifer Brittany Simmons entered the world carrying the name of her grandmother, Jennifer Ferguson. Born and raised in Latson, South Carolina, she became known to those closest to her as MJ. The family structure that shaped her life consisted of her parents, Tashia Simmons and Robert Pinkney, alongside 5 siblings: Kelvin Kane, Stephen Simmons, Daniel Mobley, Robert Pinkney Jr., and Tiana Pinkney. The family had already experienced loss before Maya's death. Her brother Deshaun Simmons had passed away prior to the events of July 2023. Her grandmothers, Jennifer Ferguson and Hazel Pinkney, played significant roles in her life, as did her great-grandparents Laura and Levi Ferguson, both of whom she had also lost before her death. By age 30, Maya had established herself primarily through her role as a mother. She had given birth to 8 children: Monye Rivers, Desire White, Tanila Sumter, Tamaya Sumter, Ivar Moore, Chase Daniels, and Journey Jones. The 8th child, Dream Jones, had died previously. Dream was one of a set of twins, meaning Maya had experienced the specific trauma of losing one twin while raising the other. This loss required her to help her surviving children understand and process death, which she approached through religious teachings about heaven and the afterlife. Maya's approach to motherhood was documented by family members as devoted and prioritized above other aspects of her life. She worked to provide financial stability and quality of life for her children. Her method of parenting incorporated faith-based education, teaching her children about spirituality and religious concepts. The task of helping her children cope with their siblings' death became part of her parental responsibilities, which she handled by framing death within the context of her Christian beliefs. Those who knew Maya described specific personality characteristics. Family members stated she could light up any room upon entering. They characterized her nature as non-aggressive and peaceful. Her relationship with her grandmother Jennifer Ferguson was described as extremely close, with the two being thick as thieves. Her faith in God was described as strong and unwavering. Her grandmother would later make a specific statement about Maya's physical capabilities, saying, "Maya Jennifer couldn't kill you with her hands," emphasizing her lack of violent tendencies. Religion functioned as a central component of Maya's life. She held deep Christian faith and attended church regularly. She taught her children about heaven and God's protection and care. Her belief system included concepts of eternal life and reunion with deceased loved ones after death. This framework would later become relevant as her family processed her own death. In June 2023, Maya celebrated her 30th birthday. The entire extended family gathered for this milestone celebration. This event occurred approximately 1 month before her death, making it one of the last major family gatherings she would attend. Maya's relationship status at the time of her death was engaged. Her fiancé was Tyrone Jones, and they were planning a future marriage together. Jones was the father of at least one of Maya's children, Journey Jones, though the paternity of her other children was not publicly specified. This engagement placed Maya in a relationship triangle that would prove fatal. Tyrone Jones had a former girlfriend named Keisha Simmons Birch. The relationship between Jones and Birch had ended, but according to social media reports that circulated after Maya's death, emotions, specifically jealousy, remained present in the dynamic between the three individuals. The location where Maya's life ended was the Bloom Room, a restaurant and bar situated at 6877 Dorchester Road in the North Village Shopping Center in North Charleston, South Carolina. This establishment functioned as a late-night gathering place for the local community. The events occurred in the early morning hours of Friday, July 28, 2023. Maya was present at the Bloom Room during these hours. What led her to be at this location, and what events transpired before the confrontation, remain unclear in the available public record. The emergency response timeline began between 2:15 and 2:19 a.m. when North Charleston police received a dispatch to the Bloom Room location. When officers arrived at the scene, they were flagged down by a crowd that had gathered in the parking lot. Maya was found on the ground in the parking lot, unresponsive. Bystanders present at the scene had already begun attempting CPR before police arrival. When officers assessed the situation, they determined Maya was suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. Emergency medical services personnel took over life-saving measures from the civilians who had been performing CPR. Maya was then transported to a local hospital. At 2:57 a.m., Maya Jennifer Simmons was pronounced dead. Charleston County Coroner Bobby O'Neill confirmed the death. The official cause of death was recorded as gunshot wound. She died at age 30. The crime scene presented certain characteristics. The shooting had occurred in the parking lot of the establishment, not inside the building. A crowd was present when police arrived, indicating multiple potential witnesses. The witnesses had observed enough to attempt life-saving measures, suggesting at least some individuals saw the shooting or its immediate aftermath. A weapon had been used during the commission of a violent crime, though whether the weapon was recovered at the scene was not specified in available reports. The North Charleston Police Department initiated an investigation immediately upon arrival at the scene. This investigation would continue actively for nearly 2 weeks. No arrests were made in the immediate aftermath of the shooting. During this period, the community exerted pressure for justice and answers. Investigators conducted their work while Maya's family waited for accountability. Keisha Simmons Birch was 39 years old at the time of the incident. She was a mother to 3 children. She operated her own business. Prior to this incident, she had no criminal record, no arrests, no convictions, no documented history of violent behavior. Her connection to Maya Simmons was indirect. Birch was the ex-girlfriend of Tyrone Jones, the man who was engaged to Mary Maya. Though Birch and Jones's relationship had ended, emotions connected to that relationship had not fully dissipated. Social media discussions after the shooting suggested that jealousy served as a motive for the confrontation that led to Maya's death. On August 11, 2023, nearly 2 weeks after the shooting, Birch took a specific action. She voluntarily surrendered herself to the North Charleston Police Department. She walked into the police station of her own accord rather than being arrested at a location of officers' choosing. She was then booked into the Al Cannon Detention Center. The charges filed against her were manslaughter and possession of a deadly weapon during the commission of a violent crime. The prosecution chose manslaughter rather than murder charges, a distinction that carries legal significance regarding premeditation and intent. The bond hearing for Keisha Simmons Birch occurred on August 11, 2023, the same day she turned herself in. During this hearing, competing narratives about the incident emerged. Birch's defense attorney presented an argument centered on self-defense. The attorney claimed that Birch had acted to protect herself from harm. Family members of Birch testified that since her incarceration, she was not sleeping and not eating. They requested bond so she could return home to her 3 children. The defense emphasized that Birch posed no danger to the community, pointing to her lack of criminal history, her status as a business owner, and arguing she was not a flight risk. Maya's family presented a different perspective at the bond hearing. They requested that no bond be granted, asking that Birch remain incarcerated. They requested a no-contact order to prevent any interaction between Birch and Maya's family members. Family members stated that Birch had shown no remorse for Maya's death. Maya's grandmother, Jennifer Ferguson, provided testimony about her granddaughter's character. The family insisted that Maya was not an aggressive person. Ferguson made a specific statement. "Whatever happened that night, my granddaughter was baited or aggravated to that point." She emphasized the consensus view of those who knew Maya. You can't get a person anywhere that will tell you Maya Jennifer was an aggressive aggressor person. The judge made several determinations. Bond was set at $200,000 surety bond, a substantial amount but not a denial of bond. Birch was placed under house arrest rather than remaining in jail. She was prohibited from using social media during the pendency of the case. A no-contact order was issued, forbidding any communication or contact with Maya's family members. These conditions suggested the court found some degree of credibility to the defense claims of self-defense while simultaneously taking measures to protect the victim's family from further harm or harassment. The investigation required collection of multiple forms of evidence. Physical evidence included the weapon used in the shooting, though whether this weapon was recovered at the scene, found later, or turned in was not specified in public records. Ballistic evidence would be analyzed to determine the number of shots fired, the trajectory of bullets, and the distance from which shots were fired. Crime scene photographs were taken to document the scene as officers found it. If parking lot surveillance cameras were present at the Bloom Room or neighboring businesses, this footage would be collected and analyzed. Witness statements from the crowd present when officers arrived were gathered. These witnesses had been close enough to attempt CPR, indicating they were present either during or immediately after the shooting. Multiple categories of witnesses existed. Some individuals were present in the parking lot when the shooting occurred. The bystanders who attempted CPR before police arrived had first-hand knowledge of at least the aftermath. Potential witnesses inside the Bloom Room may have seen events leading up to the confrontation, or may have heard or witnessed the shooting itself through windows or doors. Given the complex relationship dynamics and the late-night bar setting, conflicting accounts likely existed among witnesses. Several key questions emerged from the investigation. Regarding what led to the confrontation, was this a planned confrontation where one or both women knew they would encounter each other, or was it a chance encounter neither anticipated? What role did the relationship triangle with Tyrone Jones play in precipitating the confrontation? Had there been previous threats or interactions between Maya and Birch before this night? What specific words were exchanged before shots were fired? Regarding the self-defense claims made by Birch's attorney, was Maya armed with any weapon? If there was a physical confrontation beyond the shooting itself, who initiated physical contact? Were verbal threats made by either party? Does the physical evidence, bullet trajectories, distances, wound patterns, support a scenario of self-defense? The grandmother's statement that Maya was baited or aggravated suggests a belief that Birch provoked the confrontation, potentially undermining a pure self-defense claim. Regarding jealousy and motive, social media reports indicated jealousy over Tyrone Jones as a factor. Was the confrontation explicitly about the romantic relationship, or did it begin over something else? Had there been previous conflicts between the two women? What was Tyrone Jones's role, if any, on the night of the shooting? Was he present? Did he know both women would be there? Did he contribute to the tensions? Maya's death created immediate practical consequences for her children. 7 surviving children were left without their mother. These children were already in the process of grieving the loss of their sibling Dream. They lost their primary caregiver and became dependent on extended family support for their daily needs. The extended family experienced profound grief. Grandmother Jennifer Ferguson lost the granddaughter she was named after, the granddaughter she had been thick as thieves with. Ferguson became a public advocate for justice in the case. The church community that had been central to Maya's life provided support to the grieving family. Tyrone Jones lost his future wife. As the father of at least one of the children, he maintained connection to the family. He occupied a complex position as the ex-boyfriend of the accused and the fiancé of the victim. Both women had significant relationships with him. The community responded to Maya's death with public mourning. The family held services and memorials. Community members rallied around the family, providing support and solidarity. Calls for justice appeared on social media platforms. The North Charleston community, where the incident occurred, was impacted by the loss and the circumstances surrounding it. Social media coverage of the case appeared on multiple platforms. TikTok videos discussed the details and circumstances of Maya's death. Hashtags including hashtag Mayor Jennifer Simmons and hashtag South Carolina were used to spread information and discussion about the case. The narrative that circulated described the incident as jealousy-driven violence. The case contributed to broader discussions about relationship violence, particularly violence between romantic rivals rather than between intimate partners. Maya's funeral and remembrance services emphasized specific aspects of her life. She was remembered as a loving mother. Her faith was celebrated as a defining characteristic. Family members emphasized her gentle nature in their public statements. Community members attended to pay respects. Her legacy was framed around her 8 children carrying forward her memory. The faith and teachings she had imparted to her children were emphasized as her lasting contribution. Family members presented her life as an example of devoted motherhood. Simultaneously, her death was characterized as a cautionary tale about the dangers of relationship violence and jealousy. The case left 11 children affected. Maya's 7 surviving children and Birch's 3 children. Maya's children lost their mother to death. Birch's children faced the potential loss of their mother to incarceration. The legal proceedings would determine the duration and nature of that potential separation. Both sets of children became collateral victims of the adults' actions and decisions on the night of July 28, 2023. If this story gripped your heart and left you questioning the truth, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with others who need to hear it. For more chilling true crime stories that dive deep into the mysteries behind these tragedies, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest updates, investigations, and thought-provoking discussions. Thank you for being part of this journey with us as we uncover the truth and seek justice. Together, we can make a difference. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next one.